But you spoke about the decision to get into the industry. And I mean, from your point of view right now, because I know this is a discussion the industry is going to continue to have over the next few years. I mean, do you have any advice for the decision makers about how to get more young people into the industry, how to market the career, and how to market the attractive points of the career that are a lot, but maybe people aren't aware of right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's such a $1 million question that people are asking. I mean, we got to meet each other at the ASTA webinar or conference in Chicago, and we were just like, hey, let's maybe see if we can do this. And you invited us on, and I think that's kind of where it starts. One is just going to a lot of these community events if you're able to. But in terms of getting the younger generation, I think, of course, it was a family how we got started, but if you don't have that networking or capability with a family, I think naturally our generation is going to start wanting to become more involved. I think when people look at the travel agency business, people think it's so old and it's, oh, you work for a travel agency? But I mean, there are a lot of still brick and mortar companies like ours who are out there. And I just think that over time, our generation really does love traveling. They love seeing the world. They love exploring. And I just think naturally over time, people are going to start drifting into saying, okay, well, maybe I can make a living out of this.
Yeah. And I think if there's something positive that came out of the pandemic, outside of all the negative, one of the things is that the travel advisor has come into a big role for people across generations. And no matter what age you are, like we have a lot of friends our age who have traveled, who have gone on tours. In the past, they would have just booked it on their own. Now they're like, hey, you guys have any recommendations? Is there a company I can work with? I don't really fully understand the rules for vaccines or quarantine. So all of a sudden the industry is booming in terms of us being able to provide information for people. So I think the younger generation is starting to see that, and they're recognizing, hey, there's a lot more people in the industry, and this would actually be a really fun industry to get into as well. So.
Yeah, but I also want to point out, because something you mentioned is when you had this conversation about joining the business, I mean, there are practical things that make this profession attractive too. I mean, I know you sort of mentioned the pandemic, and that's made a lot of people realize they want the flexibility to be able to work at home and to be able to work on the road, which this career does provide. And there is a level of compensation in it and being your own boss that makes this career attractive. And I'm wondering if that's something that you were swayed by too.
Yeah, I mean, at first for both of us, I mean, we came into it, and again, with our dad being an entrepreneur and starting his own business, when we came into it, it was all learning. Hey, learn how to do this, learn how to do that. I will say, they don't really tell you what it's like when you're running your own business and how much work it actually takes. That is one of the things that I don't think either one of us expected, how much the ownership side of a business looks like. On the travel consulting side of it, I mean, there's a lot of fun to be had in that. But some of the expectations were kind of blown out of the water once we started getting into the ownership side of it.